Volume 6, External Spirit Bone. Chapter 36. Grandmaster's Arrival. Dai Mabai, puzzled, said, "You are saying, what you shot just now was crossbow bolts. But, where have your crossbow bolts gone to?" Tang San smiled slightly, indicating another tree behind the first. "There." While speaking, he walked over to that tree. This second tree was still 10 meters from the first. As everyone reached him, they only then saw the traces of the bolts the godly Zhuge crossbows launched. 16 crossbow bolts, in 2 neat rows, completely entering the tree. Zhao Wuji looked at that tree, taking another look at these bolts. "Little San, did these crossbow bolts you shot penetrate that previous tree, then again enter this tree?" Tang San nodded, saying, "The godly Zhuge crossbow's power is very formidable, specialized in breaking spirit power defense. If the defensive power isn't exceptionally tyrannical, the target will be dead in a moment." Hearing Tang San's explanation, everyone couldn't help but draw a breath. With such an unreasonable penetrating power, among everyone present, besides Zhao Wuji, all knew they would be unable to resist. Dai Mabai muttered to himself, "This thing is too potent. Even if I used White Tiger Vajra transformation, perhaps I would still be seriously hurt." Tang San raised his hand to pat at the tree trunk, relying on mysterious heaven skill to apply capturing dragon force, bit by bit shaking a crossbow bolt from within the tree trunk. This godly Zhuge crossbow's bolts were not easy to make. The ones previously fired into the man-faced demon spider were clearly lost, but these he would hate to part with. While clapping the tree trunk, Tang San meanwhile said to Dai Mabai, "The godly Zhuge crossbow can be said to be the common soldier's nightmare. But also, its greatest feature is not its power, but its hidden weapon characteristics of concealment and surprise. As long as it's loaded, shooting it doesn't require any spirit power. Even an ordinary person could easily use it. According to my calculations, spirit masters under 40th rank, if struck from the front, have very small odds of survival. On non-defense type spirit masters it has an extremely powerful restraining effect." "Tang San, is all this your research?" Ning Rongrong asked. Tang San stared blankly a moment, saying with a wry smile, "It can be considered so." He could never tell everyone that these were techniques he had brought from another life. Ning Rongrong probing asked, "Tang San, can't you sell this thing to me? You can set the price. You know I'm an auxiliary system spirit master, without any defensive capability. When everyone's lives are on the line, besides a bit of supporting spirit ability, I can only watch. If I had this thing, I could also have a bit of offensive strength." Tang San let slip a smile, saying, "Sell what? Later I will give you one as a gift. Only, making this thing requires very expensive materials. This material expenditure is on you." Right now, the crossbow bolts had already been clapped out of the tree by Tang San, so everyone saw the appearance of the godly Zhuge crossbow's bolts. The bolts were 8 kun long, without fletchings. The rear 4 kun were cylindrical, the front 4 kun were shaped for a needlepoint, the frontmost 3 kun had a whole 12 tiny blood groves, the tip extremely sharp, twinkling faintly with cold light, without any wear from penetrating the tree trunk. Tang San flipped the side of the godly Zhuge crossbow, opening the arrow trough, pushing 16 crossbow bolts back inside the box one by one. Oscar had by now already moved over, his face wearing a flattering smile. "Little San, aren't we good brothers?" Tang San looked at him and smiled slightly. How could he not understand Oscar's intention? "Of course, be at ease. I will give each person a godly Zhuge crossbow. Just like with Ning Rongrong, you cover the material costs. I will be responsible for making them. However, making this thing is very troublesome. In 1 month I can only make one. You mustn't feel anxious. Furthermore, don't easily use it except as a last resort. Making the crossbow bolts is also not easy, and after shooting it's very difficult to recover them. I'm after all only one person. I definitely can't provide more than for all of you to use personally. To say nothing of this godly Zhuge crossbow's own extreme potency, its killing power is too great, and it's very easy to cause fatal wounds. Little San, This won't do. Zhao Wuji suddenly spoke up. Tang San looked blank a moment. Why, Teacher Zhao? Zhao Wuji's face revealed a cunning smile. Looking at the other students, he said, these fellows are not persons without money. Making this godly zhuge crossbow of yours isn't easy. It can't be cheap to them. In any case, some people don't care about money, so you estimate a proper price to sell it to them for. Dai Mabai nodded, saying, I agree with Teacher Zhao. Little San, if you had to sell this godly zhuge crossbow of yours, how much money would it be? Tang San shook his head with a smile. Everyone is one of us. There's no need to mention money. Dai Mabai said, one of us is true. But they also can't let you suffer losses. If one small box is capable of shooting such enormously powerful crossbow bolts, clearly the craftsmanship is exceedingly complex. We cannot always let you tax yourself for nothing. Let alone, after we use this thing, we still need to replenish crossbow bolts. Don't tell me that every time we would have you make them for free. Don't be modest with us. This is proper. This first godly zhuge crossbow counts as your gift to us. We only pay for the materials. If we later need more, you have to sell it to us. How about it? Oscar laughed, saying, no problem, like this. Anyway, every month we all have a not insignificant stipend. This thing can save our lives in a crucial moment. Being a bit expensive is of no concern. Tang San nodded at this, saying, then fine. Since everyone is interested in this mechanism-type hidden weapon, afterwards I will strive to help you all get your own equipment. After all, one more kind of weapon is also one more kind of guarantee. Everyone were clearly very interested in the hidden weapon. Of course, this also was greatly related to the effect Tang San produced when using the hidden weapon. After all, on the first day of arriving at Shrek Academy, relying on hidden weapons, he put the compared to him more than 40 spirit power ranks higher Zhao Wuji at a disadvantage. Let alone these students, even Zhao Wuji was somewhat affected. Finally they had left Stardew Great Forest. Out of the forest's boundary, although they no longer had that fresh and clean air, everyone seemed to be unburdened from a layer of pressure, feeling much lighter. We will hurry on again, we can rest at the little town. Zhao Wuji said with a smile. Dai Mabai said, if everyone's condition is no problem to rush a bit, after reaching the small town, I would invite everyone for a drink. Teacher Zhao, this time you can't decline. If not for your assistance, perhaps we would all be unable to walk out alive from Stardew. Zhao Wuji smiled, saying, little Bai, I know you are wealthy. Only, my capacity is vast. Dai Mabai laughed. Teacher Zhao, did you not hear that sentence? My ability to use money to settle matters is no problem. Entering Stardew Great Forest this time, the bounty truly wasn't small. Not only did Oscar succeed in entering the Spirit Elder Realm, Tang San and Xiao Wu also equally succeeded in fusing with the third spirit rings. Even more significant was strengthening the cooperation and relationship between everyone. The entire Shrek Academy altogether only had these 7 students. Removing conflicts would be greatly beneficial to everyone's cultivation from here on. The party rested at the small town for as much as 2 days. Recovering spirit power and physical power naturally didn't require this much time, but after continuously living in a stretched tight condition, the mind needed to relax. Dai Mabai was extremely grand, paying for everyone's expenses over the 2 days. Everyone also didn't cultivate, each day drinking together and playing noisily, indescribably pleased. Even the always ice-cold Zhu Zhuqing's expression softened a lot. Only, she didn't say anything and didn't agree to let Dai Mabai again pull on her hand. Dai Mabai also didn't push her. After all, she was just a 12-year-old little girl. He wasn't anxious. After 2 days, everyone once again set off. Following the 1 day's journey, they smoothly returned to Suotuo City's Shrek Academy. Finally back. Coming home feels truly wonderful. Ah! Oscar somewhat exaggeratedly shouted out loudly. Zhao Wuji glared at him. Keep your voice down, haven't you seen the sky is dark? Well, you each return to your dormitories to rest. I will go see the dean and report what's happened. After 1 day of fast traveling, everyone were tired. each walked towards their dorms. Tang San, wait a minute. Tang San was just about to leave with Oscar for their dorm, when Ning Rongrong called out. Tang San looked blank a moment. Rongrong, what's the matter? Ning Rongrong bit her lip, saying, I want to chat with you alone, can we? At Tang San's side, Oscar's expression stiffened at once. You chat. I'll return first. Since that day he pushed down Ning Rongrong when the Titan giant ape attacked, Oscar's originally already dead affection had begun to live again. After all, Ning Rongrong's appearance was beautiful. Although only 12 years old, she was still growing into a rare beauty. These past few days, as he had paid great attention to her, Ning Rongrong also had not again rejected him, on the contrary getting much closer. But now Ning Rongrong suddenly said she had to chat with Tang San alone. Oscar in his heart couldn't help but be a bit sour, but also couldn't say anything. Xiao Wu looked somewhat curiously at Ning Rongrong. Rongrong, what do you need little San for? I can't hear it either. Ning Rongrong hesitated a moment, but still gave a nod. Xiao Wu pouted, pulling a face towards Ning Rongrong, and with that ran off towards the dorm. Dai Mabai, Ma Hongjun and Zhu Zhuqing had just now already returned to the dorms. Currently, at the academy entrance remained only Tang San and Ning Rongrong. Rongrong, in the end what is the matter? Tang San asked. Ning Rongrong said, Tang San, I want to make a deal with you. A deal? Tang San, somewhat astonished, looked at her. In his heart thinking, don't tell me this Ning Rongrong has returned to her old ways again. Ning Rongrong earnestly nodded. Although I know you can't be short on money, but I still very much want to make this deal with you. Only, in this matter I can't make it on my own. I wanted to first ask whether you were willing. Tang San, through observations, discovered Ning Rongrong apparently wasn't going back to her old ways. Her expression was very serious, and even slightly excited. Just say it, what is the matter? Ning Rongrong said, you know that I come from the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile School. Although we are one of the 7 big clans of the current age and have a high status, our school's core students are all support-type spirit masters. When we meet enemies, we are always the priority target. I think your mechanism-type hidden weapons will help us greatly. At least it will let our members have a bit of self-defense ability. So, if possible, I hope that, through the school, I can buy a batch of mechanism-type hidden weapons. So that's why. Tang San understood Ning Rongrong. But I heard 7 Treasures Glazed Tile School had many subsidiary clans and members just for protecting the core students. You even have 2 powerful titled Douluo. Is it still not enough? Ning Rongrong said, that, after all, is still external help, not belonging to us. Also, no one can promise there won't be traitors. In the past in our school, that happened once. One of my uncles were abducted by a protector of the school. Afterwards, even though the school set many laws against similar incidents, we're still passive in any situation. Tang San said, Rongrong, sorry. I'm afraid I'll have to let you down. If it was only a few, there wouldn't be any problem. I should be able to make enough hidden weapons. But for your entire school, there are at least over 100 core students. I really can't make that many hidden weapons. Ning Rongrong anxiously said, its quality doesn't have to be very good. As long as we can defend ourselves. If the quality is worse, can it save some time? Tang San looked sternly. Rongrong, don't ever say that again. I either don't do it, or do it to the best of my abilities. Ning Rongrong stuck her tongue out. Then there's no other way. Tang San thought for a bit, and suddenly remembered Tang Sect's old way of operating. If he imitated it, could he? There is a way, but I need to think about it carefully before I can give you an answer. Ning Rongrong smiled slightly and said, that's fine. Tang San, how about this? Give the first hidden weapon you make to me. I also need to bring it to my dad for a look. Only my father can decide whether they should equip the core students with your hidden weapons. If it really is okay, you have to ask for a high price, don't be polite. Hee, I need to go back to sleep. I possibly have to explain to your Xiao Wu as well. Don't worry, I won't make her feel jealous. Done talking, with a string of laughter Ning Rongrong ran towards the dormitory. Looking at Ning Rongrong's departing figure, Tang San showed a relaxed smile. Money was a good thing, he naturally wouldn't refuse it. For him, if he wanted to make more powerful hidden weapons, he needed the support of money. Tang San decided to think about it carefully when he got back. He wanted to see if he could bring the Tang Sect's way of business here. After all, making massive amounts of hidden weapons wasn't something he could accomplish alone. Back at the dormitory, Little Ao wasn't resting. He only laid on his bed, looking at the ceiling. Seeing Tang San enter, he quickly sat up. Little San, what did Rongrong need you for? Looking at his nervous expression, Tang San couldn't help but laugh on the inside and tease him. Nothing much. We only exchanged affections. Exchanging affection. Oscar's voice became slightly strange. Little San, is Xiao Wu really your sister? Tang San shook his head. Xiao Wu is my adopted sister. Oscar said, if you already have Xiao Wu, shouldn't you not fight over Rongrong with me? Tang San looked at Oscar, amused. Didn't you give up already? Oscar felt a bit embarrassed. But don't you feel after we went to Stardew Great Forest, she changed a little? She seems not as annoying as before. Also, she's still young, I believe her attitude will definitely get better. Tang San also laid down on his bed. Then you have to try hard. Don't worry, she talked to me only for business about my hidden weapons. Oscar was amazed. Really? Then that's great. Little San, you really are my good brother. Tang San rolled his eyes. Give me a break, go rest. Aren't you tired? Closing his eyes, Shrek Academy's friends flashed through Tang San's head one by one. All of these people can be said to be monstrous prodigies. Even their minds were more mature than people their age. Just the thought of Ma Hongjun, at the age of 12, loitering around brothels, and Dai Mabai with those twins, was unfathomable to Tang San. Was this the early maturing in legends? After a day of traveling, fatigue was unavoidable. Finally getting back, Tang San decided to allow himself to relax for a day. He didn't start cultivation, but went straight into dreams. A mind that was always tense would actually bring disadvantage when cultivating. Needed rest would benefit the effects of daily cultivations. This was the way of striking balance between work and rest that Grandmaster passed on to Tang San. In the dean's office, Flender, full with astonishment, finished listening to Zhao Wuji's description of the journey this time. His expression changed multiple times, and after finally hearing everyone returned safely, he let out a sigh of relief. Looks like we were still too careless. Flender sighed and felt a wave of lingering fear. Next time they go hunt for spirit beasts, I will lead the team with you, with 2 other teachers. These kids are all favored by fate. If they have any accidents, that's equal to ruining geniuses. Zhao Wuji sat in a seat on the side. He was even more afraid that any accidents would happen. He laughed bitterly. This can't be blamed on you. Who would know that Stardew Great Forest would become this weird, with this many things happening in the outer edges? They even met the unrivaled dragon-serpent couple. The thing I understand the least is the appearance of the Titan giant ape. However you look at it, with his ranking within spirit beasts, he wouldn't lightly come to the outer edges. Good thing Xiao Wu's fortune is good, or else this time we really would have big losses. Frankly, even if we did what you said and sent 4 teachers to protect these kids, if we met the Titan giant ape we still would have been destroyed. Flender nodded. But Stardew Great Forest is the nearest spirit beast habitat. Other than that we have no other choice. But from your explanation, the Titan giant ape seemed unhostile and didn't kill everyone. Or else, even if you used your spirit avatar you wouldn't have been able to block it. Xiao Wu surviving is even more surprising. What is the cow roar she talked about? Don't tell me that in the Stardew Great Forest, there is some spirit beast that can raise a response from the Titan giant ape. The cow roar was probably from the sky blue bull python. A stiff and slightly strange voice came from outside the door. Zhao Wuji was startled. He had already heard the sound of approaching footsteps, but he didn't really care about it. He only thought it was a teacher of the academy. Now that he heard the voice, he felt something was wrong. No one in the academy sounded like that. Ha ha, a familiar person came. "Co Gang, quickly come in." The door opened and a middle-aged man walked in from outside. A stiff face, a perfectly straight back, a first impression of lifeless eyes, but in fact deep in the dark pupils expressing some anxiety. If Tang San were here, he would have recognized the person on first sight, because he was Tang San's teacher, in the Spirit Master realm famous as Grandmaster. "Come, Wu Ji, you don't recognize him, right? I will introduce you to him. This is my old partner in those days, also Tang San's teacher. You can call him Grandmaster. Almost the entire Spirit Master world calls him that." Zhao Wuji suddenly remembered something and looked at Grandmaster, surprised. "So you are Grandmaster. Greetings, I am Zhao Wuji." Grandmaster's tone was always that flat, his stiff face barely squeezing out a smile. "Motionless bright king, you don't have to be polite. You came back. Tang San should have came back with you. Is he safe and sound?" He only heard Zhao Wuji talk about Xiao Wu being let go by the Titan giant ape and didn't hear any previous conversations. Zhao Wuji chuckled and said, "He's fine. Our luck is pretty good. Everyone came back safe and sound. This time it really was thanks to Tang San. Grandmaster, you indeed brought up a good apprentice. When did you arrive at the academy?" Flender helped Grandmaster answer Zhao Wuji's question. "He arrived the day before yesterday. If not for Tang San, he might have never come." "Co Gang, sit." When Grandmaster heard Zhao Wuji say Tang San was safe, his expression clearly eased. Without being polite, he pulled over a chair and sat down. Zhao Wuji then learned that Grandmaster's real name was Co Gang. Hearing this was a little unexpected, but it was also a name brimming with masculinity. He had also heard quite a few rumors about Grandmaster. Although Grandmaster himself looked skinny and lacked strength, his character was famously strong. Once, he abandoned his family for some matters. That was when he met Flender and another person, later creating the famous Golden Iron Triangle. Zhao Wuji was very interested in what Grandmaster said as he entered, and hastened to question closer. "Grandmaster, just now you mentioned some spirit beast. One unexpectedly able to make the Titan giant ape pay attention." On Grandmaster's face was revealed a focused serious expression. If Xiao Wu heard a cow's roar, then, the Titan giant ape giving up and leaving her is a very reasonable explanation. Within Stardew Great Forest, there is not only this one Titan giant ape forest king. There is still a compared to him even more formidable existence. That existence is Stardew Great Forest's greatest power. If speaking of the Titan giant ape as king, then, he is the emperor. This kind of spirit beast is the sky blue bull python. Whether it was Zhao Wuji or Flender, both revealed expressions of listening earnestly, also in their hearts secretly sighing in admiration. In terms of knowledge, perhaps no one would be able to compare to this Grandmaster before them. Zhao Wuji also finally understood why he would be known as Grandmaster. As everyone knows, for a spirit beast's strength, apart from its cultivation age, innate talent is also extremely important. Just like our Spirit Master, apart from cultivation level and spirit rings, the spirit's innate strength also determines future development potential. But among spirit beasts, if dividing spirit beasts according to level, then, the sky blue bull python and the Titan giant ape should both be considered the most super formidable. They possess incomparable innate talent and tyrannical physique. These two existences within Stardew Great Forest have already surpasses at least 50,000 years cultivation. Although they still haven't reached the 100,000 spirit beast level, their oppressive strength is already sufficient to compare with the title Douluo among us spirit masters. When their cultivation age reaches 100,000 years, then, perhaps they will become existences transcending title Douluo. Zhao Wuji said, "Grandmaster, I have previously heard of this Titan giant ape many times, but this is still my first time hearing the name Sky Blue Bull Python. Unexpectedly it's even more powerful than the Titan giant ape. Then what is it capable of?" Grandmaster sighed slightly, Just like no one knows the Titan giant ape's full ability, even less people know what the sky blue bull python is truly capable of. A titled Douluo once penetrated deeply into Stardew Great Forest. He was confident in his strength, wanting to have a look at what kind of place the core of this Stardew Great Forest was like. His strength was indeed formidable, finally entering the deepest part of the forest. Reaching that core, he was astonished to discover that place unexpectedly no longer was a forest, but a not very large lake. The lake water was clear, surrounded by forest, like a fairyland. Lake. Zhao Wuji looked astonished at Grandmaster. Flender had a somewhat pondering expression. Grandmaster continued. Just next to that little lake, the titled Douluo saw a spirit beast drinking water. But this spirit beast was actually the Titan giant ape you encountered this time. That titled Douluo, seeing the Titan giant ape, was greatly excited. He had always heard it was a kind of formidable spirit beast existence, and immediately intended to start a fight with the Titan giant ape. But, in the end, he couldn't compete with the Titan giant ape, because he in less than a moment already lost his head out of fear and escaped that place. Why? Because of the sky blue bull python. Zhao Wuji had opened his eyes wide. Grandmaster nodded. Precisely because of the sky blue bull python. As that titled Douluo prepared to fight, suddenly, the little lake before him boiled, and immediately afterward, he saw an incomparably enormous bullhead stretch from below the surface, incomparably immense pressure making the titled Douluo unable to help being shocked. The bull-headed python-bodied spirit beast slowly separated from the surface, revealing its 100-meter-long huge body. At that time it was evening. This whole blue-green spirit beast hissed at the sky. In the sky, the moon's radiance seemed to be swallowed by it. But what truly scared the titled Douluo was that this sky blue bull python unexpectedly spoke human words, saying to that titled Douluo, "Human, your cultivation becomes difficult. Leave this place." Zhao Wuji and Flender looked at each other. Flender couldn't help saying, "How have I never heard of this before?" Grandmaster coldly glanced at him. "There are still very many matters you don't know about. Do you know how the Titan giant ape behaved when the sky blue bull python appeared? Before the sky blue bull python it would display a fearful expression. But that sky blue bull python at that time, from its mouth issued an ear-splitting bull roar. Consequently, from what Xiao Wu said, I can determine that Titan giant ape certainly heard the sky blue bull serpent's call, putting down everything in its hands, hurrying to meet it. The reason why the sky blue bull serpent is not as well known as the Titan giant ape is because it very rarely leaves the pool at the core of Stardew Great Forest. But this matter was related to the spirit master world by that titled Douluo. Still, its existence is known only by a small number of people, and I am precisely one of them. So it was like this. It appears that Xiao Wu's luck truly is good. Grandmaster said, "Teacher Zhao, I carefully read these current students' records. This time you left for Stardew Great Forest in order for that food system spirit master child to look for his third spirit ring. I do not know what spirit beast spirit ring he obtained in the end." Zhao Wuji chuckled, saying, "This time our luck wasn't bad. It could also be considered robbing the fat from other people's mouths. Oscar, that kid, obtained a 1,000-year phoenix tail crest serpent spirit ring, possessing a pretty good third spirit ability. A 1,000-year phoenix tail crest serpent." The muscles in Grandmaster's rigid face changed at once. "This truly is very good. Originally I had anticipated several kinds of spirit rings suited to this food system child, but I never expected this child would obtain a spirit beast result so good. The phoenix tail crest serpent's disposition is relatively gentle, but extremely cunning, most expert in fleeing. Its cultivation is not easy. If my conjecture is correct, Oscar's third spirit ability is certainly related to speed." Zhao Wuji, with a sigh of admiration, said, "Worthy of being called Grandmaster, you are correct. This third spirit ring of Oscar's is related to speed. His third spirit ability is a kind of mushroom sausage. After eating it one can maintain flight for 1 minute, flying at the same speed as the phoenix tail crest serpent." Grandmaster seemed shocked. Clearly he had not anticipated the spirit ability Oscar obtained would be like this. He resolutely said, "This child's food system spirit talent is unprecedented, the most outstanding of all the food system spirit masters I have met. His future prospects cannot be measured." Flender smiled darkly, saying, "This Shrek Academy of mine has always accepted only monsters. Did you just find out now? Unfortunately, this is the last class. These 7 children are the Academy's last disciples. I certainly must foster them into people worthy of respect. This time with your help. We brothers working with a common purpose, in less than 10 years, we will certainly let the word Shrek shake the Spirit Master world." Grandmaster unhappily glared at Flender. "If not for little San, I wouldn't remain here." "Flender, don't forget what you promised me. In the future when little San hunts spirit beasts you must personally accompany him." Flender said, "This is easy. Only, we still must wait for him to reach 40th rank." Grandmaster was an astute person. His seemingly expressionless eyes released a flash of light, staring fixedly at Zhao Wuji, saying, "Teacher Zhao, don't tell me little San also already reached 30th rank." Zhao Wuji nodded, saying, "I also just thought to ask Grandmaster whether the change on little San's body was ordinary." At once, he repeated what he previously told Flender, telling Grandmaster in even more detail about the events of this time entering Stardew Great Forest. Grandmaster listened very attentively, without overlooking a single word of what Zhao Wuji said. In his eyes all along expressed a pondering light. Although Grandmaster's disposition was calm, as Zhao Wuji spoke of Tang San several times being in danger of death, his expression couldn't help but transform. Especially hearing Zhao Wuji say Tang San absorbed the 2,000-year cultivation man-faced demon spider, his expression changed greatly. No one understood more clearly than him how grave the consequences were of absorbing a spirit ring surpassing one's limit, that was practically certain death. Once Zhao Wuji had finished everything he had to say, Grandmaster slowly released a long breath. "Little San, this child's willpower is stronger than I had imagined. I didn't expect that he would be able to endure like this. This child's prospects are perhaps even more outstanding than I had estimated." Zhao Wuji said, "The reason why Tang San was able to persevere is perhaps related to Xiao Wu. A person's willpower will sometimes be affected by external circumstances. I can reach the conclusion that Xiao Wu in Tang San's mind has an extremely important position." Grandmaster nodded, "You're right. It's very possible this is the reason. However, this is still greatly related to his own willpower. Tang San, this child's will is precocious, already far exceeding his peers." Zhao Wuji said, "Grandmaster, what is after all going on with the 8 spider legs that appeared on Tang San's back? Those don't seem at all a result of the spirit ring. He has a tool spirit, how could he himself transform? If it wouldn't be spirit ring variation, perhaps it's spirit variation." Grandmaster said, "Right now I still don't dare be certain of what his condition is. Spirit ring variation is impossible. Spirit beast spirit rings are invariably fixed. Although bringing different results when combined with different spirits, the spirit rings themselves will not have too great changes. Tang San already obtained a spirit ability. The spider legs appearing on his back should not be bestowed by the spirit ring. As for spirit variation, it's not impossible. But I do not believe this is the case." Volume 6. External Spirit Bone. Chapter 37. Blue-silver grass post-evolution might. Generally speaking, spirit variation is set from birth. Consequently, when the spirit awakens, if the spirit is already varied, it will exhibit. Receiving postnatal influence and generating spirit variation is really too rare. Tang San's spirit is blue-silver grass, its weakness leading to him absorbing any spirit ring comparatively easily, and won't cause too great rejection. Although the man-faced demon spider was powerful, it still wouldn't cause this kind of spirit variation condition. Most importantly, his blue-silver grass spirit hasn't disappeared and can still be released. From this point I can conclude it really isn't spirit variation." Flender said, "Then what's going on? These spider legs would never appear without reason." Wuji just now also said, "On these spider legs is added the man-faced demon spider's poison. If used appropriately, It can be considered a kind of weapon on its own, and still a very surprising one. In Grandmaster's eyes twinkled a light. Abruptly standing up, I must personally see the circumstances of these spider legs, to decide what they are after all classified as. Flender waved his hand to Grandmaster, saying, "Let it be, those children have only just returned. Finding Tang San again tomorrow is not too late, let him have a rest." Grandmaster hesitated a moment, at last still sitting back down in his seat. If it truly is like I estimate, then, this time Tang San's harvest in Stardew Great Forest was too great. Even better than the spirit ring he acquired. Flender started, "You were saying?" Grandmaster nodded, "But I still can't be certain. If it truly is like this, then, I promise you to stay here." Flender laughed, "Good. Then I look forward to your stay. We brothers are at last able to be together again. It's a pity she isn't here." Hearing Flender speaking of that, Grandmaster's face changed minutely, frowning. "Flender, don't mention her. I don't want to quarrel with you." Flender somewhat helplessly shrugged. "Fine. I don't want to quarrel either. Only, I truly wish you will stay. For all these years, I could be considered spending all my effort towards Shrek Academy. I have now finally decided to close the academy. I hope this last batch of students are able to give me the perfect ending. With you here, this has all become likely." From Flender's eyes, Grandmaster saw a bit of weariness. The expression on his rigid face couldn't help but soften a bit, nodding, "We can speak of that again tomorrow once I've seen little San." Flender said to Zhao Wuji, "Wuji, you're also tired after hurrying for one day. Go rest at once. Thank you for your troubles this time." Zhao Wuji smiled slightly, saying, "The academy also isn't just you alone. If we were not full of hope for this place, and fond of this kind of tranquil life, we would remain at this place for so many years. We have all spent our heart's blood for this place. You need not speak politely." "Grandmaster, Flender, I'll leave first." Finished speaking, Zhao Wuji stood up and left Flender's office. Flender all along followed Zhao Wuji's departure with his eyes. In his eyes displayed some gratitude. Were it not for the help of these old brothers in these years, perhaps I long ago would have failed to support the academy. Once this batch of students have graduated, I will also properly relax, traveling to every place on the continent, relaxing my mind. Xiao Geng, when that moment comes, will you go together with me? Grandmaster looked blank a moment, shaking his head. "I don't know." Flender sighed. "Although I know you don't want to recall the past, I still can't help but to say, those days we lived together was something I cannot forget in a lifetime. That memory was the happiest time in all my life. If we could always keep living so happily and carefree, it would be great." Hearing Flender's words, something appeared in Grandmaster's eyes. Lowering his head, he indifferently said, "People will grow old, and all will mature. Since past matters are already in the past, what's the point in speaking of them? Only seeing the past, speaking easily, what can it really achieve?" Flender sighing shook his head. "Xiao Gang, your character is too strict. If you agreed to soften a bit, perhaps, right now you also wouldn't have this appearance. You truly couldn't accept her. After all, that wasn't her mistake. Furthermore, do you truly care about such worldly opinions?" "Shut up." Grandmaster's mood suddenly became agitated, shouting loudly, both eyes firmly glaring at Flender, "Don't mention her before me again. And you, what about you? After so many years, why aren't you together with her? Don't tell me you didn't like her. If it was like that, why are you still unmarried, still insisting on this Shrek Academy? This was just a joke on her part, that's all." Flender's gaze gradually chilled. "Xiao Gang, you are still so stubborn. In all these years you haven't changed. Right, I admit it, I like her. However, the one she truly likes is you. A noble person will not forcibly seize a person's love. Even more, in my heart, both of you are always my best friends. I can't forget her, but I also will never move on her. I only want to recall the past, nothing more. Isn't it good to be free and unrestrained alone like this?" Grandmaster abruptly stood from his seat. "Free? Bullshit. What I wanted was for you to bring her happiness. I didn't expect that after all these years, seeing you again, you to tell me you only want the memories. If I was able, I wish I could kill you right now. Flender sighed. Xiao Gang, don't get agitated. I know, at that time you chose to leave for the sake of us three. For the past many years, always without messages from you, just didn't want to trouble our lives. But, she only likes you, even though between you was that kind of relationship, she only likes you. We both love the same person, don't tell me you let me go forcing her into matters making her unhappy. Perhaps if she would agree like that, but, in all her life she wouldn't be happy. These years, I always tried to find you, she as well. Before she left, I told her, I would always be her eldest brother, forever willing to act as her eldest brother. She never forgot you, and never gave up that sincerity in her heart. Don't tell me, you couldn't. Grandmaster smiled. On his rigid face that smiling expression nevertheless made people feel cold. Me and her, is it possible? If it was possible, would I wait until now? If it weren't for that special relationship between us, do you think I would give her to you? I wouldn't. I couldn't care about common people's opinions, but I can't let her bear them together with me. Flender, if you still are my brother, don't inform her about me, otherwise, I will immediately leave this place, never meeting you again. Flender also seemed angry. Then you have the heart to see her always painfully search for you, to see her alone all her life. Grandmaster's gaze was somewhat sentimental. 20 years. A whole 20 years, it's all already late. Right now I only hope to foster little San into a great person. Matters of emotions I already do not dare expect. At that time I left like that. Don't tell me you believe she would still forgive me. In this life of mine, I have never before been afraid of anything. But, right now I'm truly afraid. I'm afraid to confront her. Honestly, when I found you this time, when I didn't see her at your side, I was secretly somewhat delighted. But when I sobered, I discovered my heart was only empty. I lack the ability to repay her. I don't have the courage to face her. You, Flender stared at Grandmaster, for a long time unable to speak a word. Forget it. This is all your own matter. I won't let her know you've appeared. But if there comes a day when she finds you, Xiao Gang, hear my words, do not run away again. If you still are my brother. Grandmaster didn't promise, but, Flender saw the rims of his eyes had already reddened. He understood the suffering in Grandmaster's heart, right now didn't say anything more. Have you returned home? Flender changed the topic. Grandmaster shook his head. Since long ago I already didn't have a home. Flender sighed. That is after all your home. Even though they don't welcome you. But, Grandmaster waved his hand, indicating Flender shouldn't say more. Even if I wanted to return, I still wouldn't return like this. Without first having my proof, I will not let those people laugh at me. On Flender's face suddenly revealed a smile. Apparently, your heart truly is completely placed on Tang San. Did you know, for little San, Wu Ji was even beaten up? Grandmaster smiled. This time his smile was no longer cold. Although I didn't know, I can guess. That person couldn't be offended by you. You know, Flender started. His gaze at Grandmaster immediately became somewhat strange. Grandmaster pulled out a token tile from his chest and tossed it to Flender. On the surface 6 distinct insignia immediately appeared before his eyes. He gave me this. Flender, know that what you right now see of little San is not all of him. His true potential is still far, far from being unearthed. Don't tell me you believe that his spirit really is just blue silver grass. If it was like that, how would he still become my disciple? Flender was shocked in his heart. Don't tell me his spirit also has a variation. Grandmaster shook his head. No, it really isn't variation, just twins, that's all. What? Filling the night, tonight's night sky brought several faint spirits, as if giving the night mist a layer of muslin, giving people a kind of mist-covered water hazy sense of beauty. When the night washed away, as the distant day showed its first hints of white, a dorm's door quietly opened. Being tired wouldn't affect a lifetime of habit. Tang San quietly walked out of the dorm. Even though the day still seemed very dark, he liked this time every day the most. Because this was dawn, it was a beginning, a brand new beginning. Every time, he felt himself seem to completely awaken, everything being that beautiful. Behind talent was great effort. Without assiduous cultivation, even talented spirit masters still couldn't accomplish much. Behind Tang San's formidable surface was already more than 10 years of great effort. Practiced leaping onto the house, only this time Tang San nearly fell off the roof. Because just when he jumped onto the roof, he happened to see a person sitting there alone, burning gaze staring fixedly at him. At dawn, a person's mind would be very relaxed, and Tang San was no exception, therefore he hadn't at all carefully listened to his surroundings, just would jump from fright. The person on the rooftop caught Tang San by one shoulder, pulling him to sit down at his side, the other hand making a gesture for him to sit silently. After shock came exultation. Tang San immediately recognized. This person sitting on the roof was precisely Grandmaster. Grandmaster, when did you arrive? Tang San pleasantly surprised asked. Tang Hao had left Holy Spirit Village when Tang San was 7 years old, leaving behind only a letter. And ever since had faded away without news. Grandmaster filled this gap of affection. Although he wasn't a person adept at expressing himself, Tang San obtained immeasurable care and affection from him. If not for Grandmaster and Xiao Wu, Tang San's character definitely wouldn't be like right now. To him, in this second life, besides his father, they were the most important people. Rubbing Tang San's head, this was Grandmaster's customary action. I said I would come find you here. I arrived several days ago, learning you had left for Stardew Great Forest. However, you also gave me a surprise. I didn't think you could so quickly break through the 30th rank pass. Tang San smiling said, Isn't that because you taught me well? Grandmaster's expression suddenly dropped. Then did I teach you to absorb spirit rings from spirit beasts with unknown age? Tang San was distracted a moment, immediately understanding Grandmaster already knew the danger he'd been in, and somewhat awkwardly shook his head. No. Grandmaster sighed. Then you still dare act rashly. Did you forget I told you how dangerous the man-faced demon spider was? If this time you ended badly, how should I explain it to your father? You are my only disciple, and also my hope. Without my permission, you cannot die, understand? Although what Grandmaster said wasn't pleasant to hear, how would Tang San, who was familiar with him, not hear the concern and fear deep in his words? Teacher feared his danger. The corners of Tang San's eyes heated, respectfully lowering his head. Teacher, I was mistaken. Grandmaster glared at Tang San for a long time without uttering a word. After a long time, sighing, he said, Little San, do you know, you have an unusually severe weak point. This weak point might in the future put you in a crisis. What is it? Tell me, I will certainly change. Tang San hurriedly said. Grandmaster shook his head, saying with a wry smile, Although this is a weak point, it's also a merit. You put too much importance in emotions. This time, if it was not for Xiao Wu being kidnapped, you also wouldn't so arbitrarily have forced absorption. Tang San at this understood Grandmaster's meaning. For a moment he was speechless. Grandmaster wasn't wrong. If not for Xiao Wu, he absolutely wouldn't have been so impetuous. But that time, Tang San's mind had already lost the majority of its ability to make judgments, in his heart only thinking to as far as possible go to bring back Xiao Wu. Once again rubbing Tang San's head, Grandmaster's gaze once again became mild. My reprimands today, I hope you will remember, at all times calmly reflect. Even if it's your most important person appearing in danger, you must be even more calm. Only after first saving yourself will you have the opportunity to save others. Most importantly, you can't impetuously settle problems. Do you understand? Tang San hurriedly nodded. Teacher, I will remember. Grandmaster smiled slightly, extremely pleased with this obedient disciple, saying, Go, we'll go outside the academy. Let me have a look at what you gained from being impetuous this time. Tang San was ecstatic. He also just thought to ask Grandmaster just what was going on with the changes to his body. The two master and disciple jumped off the roof, and without alerting anyone, quietly left the village, reaching the little grove outside the village. Grandmaster raised his hand and made a gesture towards Tang San. After many years as master and disciple, Tang San naturally understood his meaning. Urging the spirit power within his body, he released his spirit. Blue-silver light sparkled. Quietly a cover of blue-silver grass rose in Tang San's surroundings, moving rhythmically at Tang San's side. Grandmaster attentively watched the blue-silver grass Tang San summoned, mumbling, "The blue-silver grass is slender, looking even glossier than before. Apart from the original tea fragrance, it also has a faint sweet fishy smell, should be the man-faced demon spider poison permeating it. With the toughness of the man-faced demon spider silk, although your blue-silver grass has become slender, it should be even more durable than before. Little San, twine that tree over there, try pulling it with your full strength." "Yes." Tang San raised one hand, one blue-silver grass shot out like lightning, between eye blinks already twisting around a large tree 10 meters away, both hands simultaneously exerting, using mysterious heaven skill with all his might. That tree was thicker than a person could reach around, but under Tang San's pull, the thick tree trunk began to gradually bend. Grandmaster walked over to the tree, carefully observing the blue-silver grass twisting around the tree trunk. Along with Tang San's effort, the blue-silver grass was already gradually carving into the tree bark. A layer of faint smoke rose from where the blue-silver grass was in contact with the tree trunk. It could clearly be seen the blue-silver grass was gradually penetrating deeply within the tree trunk. Along with Tang San's effort, deeper and deeper into the complete width of the tree trunk. "Good, you can stop." Grandmaster gestured to Tang San. Tang San at this relaxed blue-silver grass, the strand of grass twining around the tree trunk swiftly withdrew like it was a snake, itself appearing without a trace of change. "Little San, come and see." Grandmaster called Tang San to his side. The degree of blue-silver grass toughness has clearly increased, although it has become slender, under the full strength of your more than 30th rank spirit power, it hasn't the slightest indication of being stretched apart. In other words, your spirit power is insufficient to break the blue-silver grass. Furthermore, the additional poison on blue-silver grass has clearly improved. If you use the ghost vine's added poison, the result should be even better. Besides the original poison type, now it also has corrosive poison. This belongs to the man-faced demon spider. Tang San looked in the direction of Grandmaster's finger. The area where the blue-silver grass previously twisted had deep grooves about 2 kun deep. Around them were a burnt black color, although along with blue-silver grass withdrawal it already no longer shed smoke. The severity of the supplemental corrosive poison on blue-silver grass could still be seen. "Teacher, blue-silver grass toxicity has increased a lot. Currently it roughly has spirit power paralysis, neurological pain and corrosion, 3 major effects. For ordinary spirit masters, relying only on spirit power to resist will already be very difficult. Especially after this highly corrosive poison is added, when piercing the opponent's skin, it will allow the other 2 poisons to display even greater effect. Adding to its own toughness, leading to binding even tighter, the effect is clearly amplified." Grandmaster said, although this time absorbing the man-faced demon spider's spirit ring had enormous risks, the risk is directionally proportional to the rewards. Looking at blue-silver grass own growth alone is already fairly astonishing. But also, your physical strength and speed have both increased not inconsiderably. The rewards are not bad. However, I still must once again remind you, you must not make the same mistake a second time. I absolutely do not want to see a scene of the white-haired carrying the black-haired. Tang San chuckled, "Teacher, I know. Hereafter I would not again be impetuous." Grandmaster nodded and smiled, saying, "Come, release your 3rd spirit ability for me to see." Tang San nodded, looking around in all directions, choosing a location between 2 trees. Right now, releasing the 3 spirit rings moving rhythmically over his body. Under the push of mysterious heaven skill, the 3rd spirit ring suddenly flared, bright purple light permeating his whole body, drowning out the light of the other 2 rings of light. Grandmaster, gratified, nodded to himself, at the same time also somewhat envious. After all, This third spirit ring was something he had desired all his life, but could never achieve. Tang San, with a focused and serious look, raised his right hand. In his palm, strong blue light released, spirit power releasing all over his body, intangible pressure making the short shrubs around him tremble. Go! Following Tang San's low shout, the blue light seen in his palm abruptly flourished greatly. A mass of blue-green light left the hand, flashing through the air, in an eye blink swelling to a diameter of about 5 meters and flying forward. Along with the blue light gathering, Grandmaster was able to see that blue light's true form. That was an enormous spider web, rings within rings, extremely fine meshed. The entire spider web was woven from blue-silver grass. Only these blue-silver grass were even a bit thinner than the blue-silver grass Tang San directly released before, furthermore appeared a crystal-clear blue. The spider web expanded. As it touched the two trees it tightened in a moment, forming a large net suspended in the air. The 5 meters in diameter large net suspended there, twinkled with a blue gleaming luster under the dawn light's illumination. Tang San's complexion after releasing this spider net had clearly become somewhat pale. Evidently the reason was the great effort he used. This was Tang San's third spirit ability, spider web restraint. Little San, tell me your thoughts about this spirit ability. Grandmaster, while carefully observing the spider web adhering to the two trees, simultaneously asked Tang San. Tang San said, after I absorbed the man-faced demon spider's spirit ring, this spirit ability appeared. According to what I sensed of this spirit ability, it has several properties. First, because it's formed from blue-silver grass, it possesses all the properties blue-silver grass does. Poison and durability both. Second, the spider web itself has a kind of sticky property. It possesses extremely powerful adhesion. If touching it even a bit, it will immediately bind, tightly restraining the target. Third, the spider web itself is released instantaneously. With my current spirit power, launching this spirit ability once requires the consumption of a third of my spirit power. Grandmaster's brows wrinkled. Only this? Aren't there still other properties? Tang San said, there is still the most important one. It's the spider web's own durability. It's directly twice that of blue-silver grass. Later, using this spirit ability, its area as well as usage frequency and toughness, all will change as my spirit power increases. In other words, the tougher blue-silver grass is, the tougher this spider web will become. Blue-silver grass toxicity will also be within it. Grandmaster nodded, this is suitable. What's your opinion on this spirit ability? Tang San said, although it wouldn't appear very wonderful, I feel this ability is unusually practical. It has a very powerful effect on my spirit's control power. Spider web with twice the toughness of blue-silver grass isn't so easy to struggle free from. Grandmaster smiled slightly, saying, no, you are still underestimating it. Its use is not only that simple, moreover it's an exceptionally powerful spirit ability. How would you breaking the limit to absorb the man-faced demon spider still give you an insufficiently tremendous spirit ability? I can practically be certain, unless it's encountering an opponent just right to counter your ability, otherwise, on the same level, or even if it's a spirit master within 10 ranks higher than you, no one would be able to throw off its restraint. With it, you can be considered as having a truly powerful position among control system spirit masters. Seeing Tang San's with like a ponderous gaze, Grandmaster continued, when spirit masters fight one-on-one, the most powerful isn't physical strength spirit masters, nor is it power attack or even agility type spirit masters. Rather it's control system spirit masters. Because a control system spirit master is able to restrain the opponent's movements, maybe even stopping the opponent's actions, under these kinds of circumstances, as long as the other side is unable to throw off your control system spirit ability, how will they still attack you? In the spirit master world, control system spirit masters are always terrifying existences. It's only since control system spirit masters generally need comrades in arms to coordinate with, they're not very well known. But truly formidable spirit masters all know the true importance and power of the control system. Tang San said, Teacher, you are saying, if in 1-against-1 conditions, right now spirit masters under 40th rank would be unable to throw off my spider web restraint. Grandmaster nodded, saying, basically so. But still don't rule out exceptions. This world is equal. Every spirit also has their advantage. Originally, were you not also thinking your blue-silver grass was a trash spirit? In the same way, although this third spirit ability your spirit added is already unusually powerful, at the same time it has a nemesis. While speaking, Grandmaster from his chest pulled out a simple thing, slowly walking over below the spider web Tang San previously released. In Grandmaster's hand was a torch. He flashed it against the wind. Immediately a flame puffed out from within the torch. Grandmaster burned the torch below the spider web, using the flame to roast the net. Just at the start Tang San still didn't see anything, but in a moment, he clearly saw that extremely durable spider web's lowest thread begin to gradually melt in the flame. I understand. You are saying the nemesis is fire. Tang San suddenly realized, at the same time recalling the first time he met Ma Hongjun. At that time Ma Hongjun effortlessly dissolved Tang San's blue-silver grass binding just by relying on his phoenix flame. Although later he still got the worst of it, he still made Tang San's blue-silver grass a useless spirit. Grandmaster nodded, saying, whether it's plants or your spider web, they themselves fear fire. The flame burning on this torch is very small and naturally insufficient to threaten the spider web. But, if you encounter a spirit master expert in using fire, then, your spirit will be completely restrained by the other side. Practically every control system spirit master has something classified as their weakness. This is also the greatest cost of a control system spirit compared to other attribute spirits. And your blue-silver grass weak point is just fear of fire. As a result, hereafter when you meet spirit masters with this kind of property you must be sure to be even more careful. Tang San pondered, saying, Teacher, then if when I hereafter again obtain spirit rings do my utmost to think of a way to add spirit rings with resistance to fire, will this erase the weak point? Grandmaster said, don't do that. Although that kind of thing will increase your blue-silver grass flame resistance, consider, if you would waste even 2 spirit abilities on flame resistance, then, after your spirit power thereafter reaches a certain degree, will you still have enough spirit abilities to contend with your opponent? But, if I don't increase the flame resistance, when I later encounter spirit masters with this kind of spirit wouldn't I lack any methods? Tang San said doubtfully. He didn't fail to understand Grandmaster's meaning, but his spirit having such a large defect clearly wasn't something he wanted to see. Grandmaster smiled calmly, saying, Control system spirit masters very rarely act alone. The best method is to let your companions take your place to deal with these issues. Of course, you also aren't without your own methods to deal with it. Aren't you always playing with those hidden weapons of yours? Although in my opinion toys lead to loss of purpose, I also have no choice but to admit that your hidden weapons truly have astonishing power. Moreover, don't forget, you don't only have the one blue-silver grass spirit. By Grandmaster's reminder, Tang San immediately recalled that hammer of his heart leapt. Teacher, you are saying that I can cultivate that hammer? Grandmaster resolutely shook his head, out of the question. Remember, without my consent, you absolutely cannot add spirit rings to that hammer. Definitely cannot. This is extremely important to your future. Right now what you can rely on is only blue-silver grass. Although he didn't understand why Grandmaster insisted on this, Tang San still nodded his promise. Grandmaster said, Little San, don't bite off more than you can chew. To you, even more important is still upgrading spirit power. The spirit abilities blue-silver grass currently possess already surpass my expectations. In the future you will only become even stronger. You are teacher's hope, you understand. Good, now let me have a look at your most significant matter, the question in your heart. Take off your jacket first. Tang San's heart tightened. Ever since leaving Stardew Great Forest, without the threat of spirit beasts, Tang San had all along wondered what was going on with those 8 spider legs on his back. Now meeting Grandmaster, he naturally impatiently wanted answers. Regarding spirits, spirit beasts and spirit rings alone, he was convinced there was no one who knew them better than his teacher. Removing his jacket, Tang San turned his back to Grandmaster. Grandmaster walked up to his back, raising his hands to touch Tang San's spine. Tang San only felt a warm and gentle spirit power flow into his back. Immediately afterward, this force began to flow up and down his spine. With a very serious expression, he carefully examined every vertebra in Tang San's spine. "Little San, after you withdrew those spider legs, could you feel them go somewhere?" Tang San turned his right hand to his back, pointing at his rear ribs, saying, "Fitting on these 8 ribs, I can feel like they adhere to the ribs. But to my body there is no effect whatsoever. On the contrary, it feels like my back strength is even a bit larger than before." Grandmaster touched the places Tang San indicated, immediately discovering that not only did these 8 ribs appear a bit thicker and more solid than the other ribs, but at the same time, the vertebra these 8 ribs connected to were also somewhat thicker than the others, feeling not only solid, but also extremely tough. Even Tang San's back muscles seemed somewhat tougher. A pleasantly surprised expression gradually appeared on Grandmaster's face, but he didn't say anything, only quickly drew back several steps, moving 5 meters away from Tang San's back. "Use your spirit power, release those 8 spider legs." Circulating mysterious heaven skill, right now Tang San couldn't help but be somewhat nervous. After all, this was his first time releasing these monstrous spider legs of his own accord. Honestly speaking, although he felt these spider legs would improve his strength, Tang San didn't have any fondness for them. He always thought that by having these 8 spider legs he seemed to become monstrous. Grandmaster was unable to take his eyes off Tang San's back, afraid to let any details slip by. Faint blue light began to appear at Tang San's back. Immediately afterward, Grandmaster clearly saw Tang San's entire spine seemed to move outside his body, releasing a weak purple light. Just now he took notice of purple light releasing especially clearly on several of the vertebrae. Immediately following, the tips of 8 ribs protruded from Tang San's back, taking the shape of 8 bulges. A little bit of soreness or stinging tickling appearing on his back made Tang San feel slightly out of sorts, but he didn't stop his spirit power.